Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andiswa. I think, as you figured, my surname is Mdleleni. This will be my second video on this platform. So basically, I did promise that I will dive into different topics. So the topic that I will be covering today is I'll be talking through my journey of being pregnant, at the age of 30 years. It was my second pregnancy from my firstborn. My firstborn is turning 13 this year. And so I got pregnant again when I was 30. So my secondborn is turning 3 this year in October. So I'm going to cover that with you today. So please feel free to ask me questions. Please feel free to ask me to elaborate on certain things maybe that I would not fully cover. Please ask for clarity. So my channel is relaxed. It's basically just a conversation, It's just a conversation that I'm having, and it's just me sharing my journey. Guys, I'm outside. So I'm hoping that you are able to hear me, and I'm hoping that you're able to hear me, and I'm hoping that there's not too much background noise. I'm sitting at the beach. Let me just see if I can show you. This is Saldanha, guys. Saldanha is so beautiful. It is super beautiful. So this is me. I'm actually currently doing electrical course right now. So I'm in a learnership or program, however it was explained to us. In any case, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm on my lunch break, and I thought let me just record because I'm in such a beautiful place, and so instead of me just chatting, let me just chat with you guys. And so I am a single mother. Just in case you missed the first video, I am a single mother. I've got 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The difference between the 2 of them is 10 years. It's a 10-year gap. I was actually hoping that my secondborn I would get in marriage, So I was waiting for some guy to discover me, for some guy to appreciate me, and for some guy to say she's worth a ring on her finger, But that did not happen. Guys, I'm not wearing my mask and I'm in a public place. I do have it with me, but because I'm talking on the phone, so I'm hoping law enforcement won't enforce anything on me. Okay. So, So basically, I wanted to have my secondborn in wedlock. I wanted the whole fairy tale, the whole fairy tale. But it never came about. So how my pregnancy happened was not even in a traditional relationship with someone that I knew for years and so on and so forth. What happened is that I was in a different setting. We were in a program that we were going to be in for about 3 weeks. So I met this guy, and we connected, we vibed, we liked each other. We sort of got into some kind of situationship. I don't know. So I'm sorry for my lighting if I come in and out of lighting. I'm sitting outside, so I don't know which way is going to give you better lighting. So we met up and we liked each other. So one thing led to another. We were sexually attracted to each other, and I mean, it was on a time whereby we were in a chilled vibe. We were at a place where we were drinking and we were vibing, and I was tipsy, and we kissed, We kissed, and one thing led to another. We had sex. Even though we were strangers, we didn't know much about each other, but we knew that our vibe was not going to last, because we were staying in different countries, and we didn't ask much of each other, We just were going to be there for one another in that space of time. We didn't think long term. We didn't talk about goals. We didn't talk about who we were seeing outside from where we were. We did not communicate about really other people, We just spoke about ourselves, a bit about our situations in terms of where we're at in our lives, and maybe in terms of what we were doing outside of the program that we were at, and maybe about, like, let's say my kids and his kid at that time. We talked a little bit, so I figured he might have a girlfriend and so on and so forth, but I was not concerned about that. And I was not seeing anyone. I was not dating anyone. So yeah, I just had a guy that I had met over the festive season, and then, I mean, like, we were also not staying in the same kind of like province. He was also in a different province. So it was nothing. So it's kind of like those relationships where you meet someone festive season and you don't know if it's gonna last, or you don't know like what the future will hold for the two of you. But also with that guy we vibed. So when I met up with the second guy number 2, I was taking myself as I was not in a relationship, because there was nothing promised even with the guy that I had previously met 3 weeks back, to the time that I met this second guy number 2. So yeah, so what happened is that we vibed and we had sex, but we were very irresponsible in the decisions that we made, because the sex was unprotected, and there was no talk on our side in terms of, was I on contraceptive or wasn't I. We're not actually planning on having unprotected sex. We're not even planning on having sex maybe at that time, but when you're kissing and when you're tipsy, one thing leads to another. And yeah, so it happened, and I honestly was not clear about it, because I think I was the most drunk one there. So it goes back to sometimes when you are filled with alcohol, you make choices that you would not make otherwise if you were in your sober minds. We cannot get away from that. I'm not saying that everything we must blame on alcohol. No, don't hear me wrong. But the fact that sometimes things that you would think about more when you're sober, when you've got alcohol in your system, and when it's a bit too much and it's more than the normal like the normal number that you can handle, then you do sometimes make stupid decisions. And I think that was one of those moments whereby I did not make an informed decision, And I'm not the kind of person that wants to blame the next person. I'm the person that likes to take responsibility for my actions, and my part in a matter. So I was not sure what had transpired, because we didn't have like a long time to actually engage in sex. So I did not know what transpired really in terms of did he come inside of me or not. But the following morning when we met up again, he was like, hey, when are you pregnant? And I was like, hi, boo, no, I'm not, and so on and so forth. But and then obviously just asked me a few questions in terms of like, am I seeing anyone outside? I think that's the only time that we got into that. I said, yes, I met this other guy, during the festive season, but it's nothing that I can say we are seeing each other, And I think that's when I told him, okay, like, listen, what really happened? Did you come inside of me or what? Because I am not on a contraceptive. I don't really, my contraceptive would be using a condom, so I don't really, and sometimes I'm more out of a relationship and single than I'm in a relationship. So sometimes I just don't feel like I need to have a contraceptive. And prior to that, I don't like needles. So I used to put on a loop, like I think loop marina, that family, so it's something that they insert inside of you, and that was for a 2-year period that I had it inside, and I took it out because I decided to abstain. So after that, I was not on any contraceptive, because I was not seeing anyone. And I mean, like, when I would see someone, then I would just use a condom. So he also said he was not sure, but guys can lie. So I think he knew that he had come inside of me. But long story short, I never took a morning after pill. And a couple of weeks down the line, I checked and I found that I was pregnant. I was expecting a child, and by that time he was back in his home country, and I was back in my I was in my country. So I was back in my province. So I was sitting with that situation whereby I'm pregnant by a guy that I don't know much of. I don't know his background. I don't know his. I don't know much about him, And I was not in a relationship with him. Here I was thinking I would have my second born in marriage, and here I was having her out of wedlock, and here I was having her with a total stranger, Yeah. So that's the kind of decisions that we make, and those are kind of the consequences that come out of our actions, our informed actions or our uninformed actions. But every action has a reaction, if I'm saying that right. So there I was. So yeah, let us continue this on another video. Let us end here for now, and then I'll just continue with the story in another video. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for getting it. Let's continue with the conversation.